We're both quite pleased, are we?
I have never been happier. In the words of Donald Trump, look what happened. It is brilliant.
Yeah.
71 million Americans just told all those snobby East Coast, West Coast elitists where to go. It was brilliant. I stayed up and watched the entire thing, so I am exhausted.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I am exhausted. I've had about an hour's sleep, but this has just been one hell of a day. It has been everything that we wanted it to be. It really, really has, you know.
Yeah, and looking at Twitter and the social media today, you know, a lot of these liberals and lefties have made complete fools of themselves. Like Rory Stewart.
Oh, God.
Don't you ever tell me he's a clever guy again.
Yeah.
Kamala will win comfortably for these reasons. The black vote will go to, and the women won't vote for Donald. They did, didn't they, Rory? Then he went back onto that useless podcast he does with Alistair Campbell. What's it called? The Rest is Politics. The Rest is Rubbish, I'll tell you that. To explain, I wasn't sort of wrong. I was just being optimistic. No, Rory, you were hopelessly, hopelessly wrong, and your political antenna is a pile of crap. Obviously.
Yeah, 100%. But this is what I expected if Trump was to win, is that the Democrats and anybody on the kind of lefty, liberally side would never take responsibility, would never actually own up and say, well, I got this wrong. None of them were ever going to do that. It is absolutely staggering. You know, the kind of already the excuses of she was the wrong candidate, she didn't have long enough, we should have had an open primary. No, you were just terrible on every single marker. It was one of the worst campaigns I've ever seen, with a horrific candidate running on a platform of nothing but, as in her words, vibes. It was ridiculous.
Yes, indeed. We're going to be focusing on a few of those celebrities. You know, Taylor Swift, Harrison Ford, Leonardo DiCaprio, J-Lo, Oprah Winfrey, you name them, they all stood up and said, vote for Julia Roberts, vote for... These people, they make their little films and they sing their little ditties, and everybody fawns on them, and they get to believe that their opinions are really influential. Well, what do you find out today, you Hollywood losers? Nobody cares what you think.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Hillary Clinton. They all came out for her. You know, Beyonce and... You know, I think she managed to get some of the old faces back at the Democratic Party, and you know, and even Kamala Harris has done the same with Katy Perry and everybody. And people don't care about them because they don't live in the real world. You know, when you're living in the United States and a roast chicken costs $20 4 years on from when it cost 11 or 12, you don't care about the opinion of Katy Perry. You care about the money in your pocket. You care about putting food on the table. And it is utterly ridiculous to think that a celebrity endorsement was going to ride you into the White House.
Yeah, you tweeted today, didn't you? It's almost as if Taylor Swift's views don't matter. Very good tweet. Now, we are going to join some people who are they're in more of a celebratory mood than even us. They're our friends from the Republican Overseas Organisation, who are based here in London. You see them often on my shows. They're good friends of mine as well. Greg Swenson, who is the chair of that organisation, and the great Jennifer Ewing. So they're having a party over in Chelsea. Hi guys, how's the mood?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
We'll have a bit of a party in a little bit, but if I can ask both of you, let's take it seriously for 5 minutes or so. Assess what we saw last night. I mean, I said to you, Greg, blowing my own trumpet some time ago, that I had this inkling, this feeling that it wouldn't be close, that Trump might landslide it, and he damn well has. Your thoughts about that? Because I think the reason you had your doubts, and I must admit I was getting my doubts towards the end, is because of this kind of avalanche of media that told us it was neck and neck. Kamala had it in the bag. The television channels, the newspapers, I mean, the pollsters. We were frankly lied to. Trump didn't just win this, he stormed it.
You're absolutely right. You were way ahead of me.
We've got a bad sound thing here. Can we try to improve the sound? That's the thing about going to parties.
Yeah.
Let's get that sound better, because Greg was just about to compliment me and say I was absolutely right. I mean, but what I was saying, Pete, though, you know, I got to admit, last night, you know what it's like, last-minute nerves. I guess I was sort of hedging my bets. I was saying to people, I think she might do it after all.
No, I actually tuned in and I watched the show last night, and you were saying that you just don't know, and I'm the same. The day before an election, I've worked on loads of different campaigns. I'm like, nope, we've lost. That's it. It's all over and done with. Everything was a disaster. You start over-analysing everything, but you were right, and I have to admit, I said Trump would win, but I actually thought he would lose the popular vote. So on that bit, I got wrong.
Right, let's go back to what I'm going to call the Republican Party. Greg, you were just about to compliment me and say I was right. So please carry on.
I forgot. No, so Kevin, you were way ahead of me on this. You called it a long time ago. I thought it would be a nail biter. You said it would be a landslide. It was a landslide. Good for you. It was a really exciting moment. I'm still surprised at the margins that Trump had. And look, both of you guys are right. This was a complete and utter disaster of a campaign from Kamala Harris and the Democrats. So yes, people voted for Trump because of his policies, because of his outcomes, because he's got a base of people that really love him, and the country, half the country really loves Donald Trump. But it was also a complete and utter disaster on the left. And will they have some, self-reflection on that? Probably not, but they should, because it was a complete disaster. Anything attached to the Biden administration was a disaster. Yeah. Kamala was a very poor candidate, as we've discussed on many occasions. So good for Trump for winning, and good for persevering against the weaponization of the justice system, the attempts to keep him off the ballot, the nut job who tried to kill him. And so, good for him. This is a great example of perseverance and a failed opposition.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's bring you in, Jennifer. Well, Kamala is still sulking. Right, she's just see. This is it. This is rough and ready broadcasting. Congratulations, Jennifer. But Kamala is still sulking. We're expecting she's going to give a speech in about 2 hours at 9 o'clock to the American people. And as yet, at this point, the Democrats aren't even admitting it's going to be a concession speech. I mean, even in her awful defeat, she lacks grace. She lacks any ability of how to act properly in the public spotlight. I mean, she really was a terrible, terrible candidate. But I thought she would do better than she did. But I think the American people, like you and I, Greg, we all saw through her. But we thought we were the only ones. But the American people saw right through her. And I'll tell you why, Jennifer. It's because she's an empty vessel. There's nothing to see. It's still in. Jennifer, that's not quite working. Hang on, we can't hear Jennifer. Okay, we're sorting that out, but I mean, as I say, rough and ready broadcasting. Yeah. We'll get her back in a minute. I wanted to catch the party atmosphere. That is the Republican Overseas Party over in Chelsea. Your way, isn't it?
It's my way,
You can pop in later on.
I have thought about
wish I could. Okay, right, Jennifer, are you back? Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I said,
we're back.
The American people...
Yeah, I heard all of that.
Okay,
I heard all of that.
So she's easy to see through because there's nothing to her, right?
So first of all, I'm going to give her a slight break because I think the media and everyone around her convinced her that she could win, right? So I think she probably had a total shocker last night and is licking her wounds. So I'll give her a little bit of time, but I think she's going to speak here right later today at Howard University. It's perhaps her old sorority house, and I guess she's going to send a message. But I think the bigger picture is it was just the hubris and the arrogance of the Democrat Party that they thought they could do without a primary election for their voters. I mean, we had a primary on the Republican side, and we had some great candidates, and Trump won because that's who the people decided. Not everybody thought that was a great idea at the time, but we did it because that's democracy. The hubris of the Democrat Party, and for them to just ornate Kamala and then not do a press conference in 107 days and just think that she could walk into the most powerful office in the world is, quite frankly, astounding. And the amount of people that were gaslit into thinking this could happen, as you said, including the three of us on certain days, is incredible. So we're very grateful that, this is revenge of the average and anonymous man and woman who are tired of being told their worries and their concerns don't matter.
Yeah, and I think, she didn't come up with any policies except for cheaper groceries. That was all she seemed to manage, whereas Donald Trump certainly centred in on the migrant crisis, which is very, very crucial. Democrats never quite understood that. Very good on law and order, very good on the economy. I mean, he had plans, he had policies. And why do you think it is, Jennifer, that the Democrats thought that they could get away with having this cackling woman not delivering any policies?
Honestly, Kevin, I think there is still such a disdain for President-elect Donald Trump out there that there are people who knew she was a terrible candidate and quite frankly didn't care. They just didn't want to see him get back into office, especially the second time around where he knows what he's doing. He's surrounding himself with a phenomenal team, a real sort of populist team, not the old school country club, neocon, forever war Republicans, but, Elon Musk and Bobby Kennedy Jr. talking about health and, obviously Vivek and Tulsi. So, and his fabulous VP candidate. So, yeah, they couldn't let him touch power. So people were willing to go along with the charade.
Just a quick word. I mean, I would bring Greg in, but I assume you're sort of swapping.
No, Craig's the boss.
Okay, all right, let's do this. Go on then.
Amazing.
Okay, right. Okay, this is TV Verite happening before you. Are you working, Greg? Can I hear you?
I want you to check out my hat.
Yeah, it's very. Hang on, I've got mine here somewhere. Right, you stay there. You got your hat. I'll raise you this hat. How's that? How's that? Make America great again. How's that?
Very NASCAR. Very NASCAR.
Just try to sum up, Greg, if you can, right now. I mean, there's a wonderful feeling today, isn't there? It's that the left, the Democrats, the TV stations, the liberal media. I mean, they are furious. I mean, to call them sore losers doesn't even begin to cover it.
Absolutely. The questions I heard from the BBC today, instead of congratulations or how was it or were you surprised, it was, how do you feel about a convicted felon being your president? It was just so shameless. And I just said, my first comment was, is that all you have? Is that what you got? Like, I can respond and, I can be hostile if you want to be hostile with me. That's fine, if that's the way we're going to go. But I try to have a reasonable conversation with you, and all you can ask about is, Trump had a potty mouth and talked about women in a bad way 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know. So, it's been pathetic. Listen, I'm going to let you guys carry on celebrating. We might come back to you in an hour or so.
Let us know.
Okay, well, we'll let you know. Good to talk to you. Congratulations. I'll get this hat on.